Welcome to Cornell Marine's Digital Learning Podcast. This week, we're going to focus on our local edible fish. So Mr. C and I have decided to have a cooking competition, and I am ready. He doesn't have a chance with my McNish Scottish ancestry. My ancestors cooked many a fish from the cold waters off the North Sea coast of Scotland. Good morning, Mr. C. Are you ready for our cooking contest? Are you going to challenge me Scottish cooking skills?
Oh yeah, I am ready with a great recipe that is so easy.
All right, then I'll meet you in the kitchen in 2 minutes. So let's get this cooking competition on the road here, baby. So what you got, Mr. C? I'll let the underdog go first.
Okay, well, I thought first I'm going to go to the freezer and take out the frozen fish sticks. I already have the oven on to preheated to 375. So let me get the fish sticks. Hold on.
I think you got the wrong idea here, Mr. C. I said local fish, all right? Not.
Well, wait a minute. Give me a chance. Here's the fish sticks.
No. Look, I'm preparing this baked flounder dish, all right? This is my special flounder recipe that I got from my mother-in-law, all right? My mother-in-law, and she's the best cook around. That's where it's coming from. I don't think you have a chance here with fish sticks, all right? This is a competition, man. I think the viewers should kind of come in on this one. What do you guys think, all right? Now, my confidence level is soaring, buddy. There's no way that you can beat me with fish sticks. Maybe with my grandkid. But no, sorry.
Well, I was hoping to get you overconfident and then crush you with my real fish recipe. Oh, yeah. I'm going with a locally caught flounder fillet fish over here, and it's going to be stuffed with a combination of cream cheese over here, some onions, spinach, and then it's going to be topped with a lemon honey glaze and baked in the oven.
All right, well, that does sound good. I guess we really have a cook-off going on here, huh? So, listen.
Yes, we do.
While we prepare our special dishes, let's roll a CC video on locally caught seafood.
We have this great resource here on Long Island, an abundance of fresh local species, and that includes striped bass, fluke, black sea bass, scup or porgies, that's the same thing, squid, bluefish, sea scallops, blackfish, weakfish, oysters, clams, the list goes on and on, the species that are local here on Long Island. The fact is that over 90% of the seafood consumed in the United States is imported from other countries. And an equal amount of what's landed in the United States is exported to other countries. So it doesn't seem to make sense that we have this great product here, yet we're not utilizing it, and you can't beat the freshness. So we went fishing this morning. All the fish that we caught today will be in the market later today and tomorrow. We'd like to teach consumers that the species that are landed here locally are an alternative to a lot of the imported farm-raised species. We are trying to raise awareness of what species are local, where consumers can purchase local seafood, and also market local seafood as Long Island Fish, which is an acronym for Fresh, Indigenous, Sustainable, and Healthy. So we are looking for alternative markets and distribution points for local seafood in cooperation with fish markets, fishermen, the industry, primarily focusing on promoting community-supported fisheries programs on Long Island.
A lot of commercial fishermen here on Long Island, and we have quite a fleet of boats on the east end, Montauk, Shinnecock, Mattatuck, Greenport, and it's very important to the community, and it's very healthy for us to eat fresh local fish.
We're a shipping hub for the North Fork where all the fishermen come and pack out and either ship out or we get to buy the fish as it comes in the door. Had a good run this spring, tremendous amount of fish. In May we packed out 100,000 pounds of local fish.
This is a porgy or scup, some people call it, right here in Mattatuck and Peconic Bay, both. There's more than plentiful this time of year. Super fun fish to go catch with your kids and stuff like that, just because it's a fairly easy fish to catch. On the lower end of the spectrum, people say, oh, there's too many bones in porgies and this and that. But this fish has no more bones than this fish, or this fish, or this fish, or this fish for that matter. Okay. The bone structure in this, and I'll show it to you when we're done here, is the same as any one of these other fish. But once we fillet it, you'll see there's not a bone in sight, and the cage or the rack of the fish is exactly the same as the others. So that's that. And you can see there's, bones here, the spine, there's pin bones through here, and the rib bones, same as any other fish.
The local fish is good for you. It's some of this fish that's imported, it's farmed. We don't know what kind of water it comes out of. And people today are really health oriented, and that's why we want to give them the best fish, best quality fish that we can get them.
So for the project, we created a comprehensive website. It's at www.localfish.org. Residents can go to the site to learn about what species are local, what time of year those species are available, information about the fish, information about where you can buy local fish, whether it's at a fish market or a restaurant that supports the project, or a community-supported fisheries program. Eventually, we'd like to be able to have the option where people can purchase seafood through local retailers on the site. So it's very informative for all aspects of local seafood.
It's been a very important part of Braun Seafood's history, and the whole North Fork. I mean, it's part of the history of who we are and what the North Fork is.
Hey Mark, while our flounders are in the oven, why don't we go get Kristen on the horn here and bring her in from the green room? How's that?
That sounds like a great idea. My oven's cooking away. I can smell it.
All right. See you in 2 minutes.
All right, bye.
Let's talk to our guest, Kristen Garbino, about the FISH program. Hey, Kristen, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Yeah, great. Glad you could make it with us.
Excited to have you. So how you doing with all this at-home stuff?
It's not easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, you have young kids, right?
Yeah, I have 2 little ones home, and they might pop into the video.
Oh, cool. All right.
My dog's just walking by. I'm sure she's going to pop into the video right now just as we start. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Well, the action starts just as soon as the video starts.
There you go. We love it.
Right.
We love it.
It all works. It all works.
So let's talk about the Choose Local Fish project that you guys are working on. What's the focus of that project? Tell us a little bit about that.
So our Choose Local Fish project is a local seafood marketing and education initiative to try to encourage consumers to choose local seafood over imported seafood. We want them to realize that local fish, we're using that word as an acronym, is fresh, indigenous, sustainable, and healthy. We want them to know why it's so important to choose local seafood, especially right now. And you can't beat it. It's one of the freshest, best, seafood options out there is local seafood. We want to raise awareness about what species are local, starting out with that, where consumers can find local seafood, what fish markets are near them that carry it, what restaurants focus on local seafood. We want them to get comfortable cooking it and provide some recipes and demonstrations. We want to provide them with some information about the seafood industry, what gears are used to catch it. Basically, there's so much information out there that we want people to understand we'd like to dispel some myths that people have about local seafood, that being it's too fishy or it's too expensive. If you think it's too fishy, you might have never had good quality local seafood. Some species are expensive, but at the same time, there's other local options out there that are less expensive. So we're really just trying to answer all these questions for people and have them exercise their buying power and increase the demand for local seafood on Long Island, because it's so important.
I love going to a local seafood market and you see all the fish there, the shellfish, and you can look at what you want. It's certainly different than, visiting a grocery store, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an experience in itself. And I remember as a child going to Mastic Seafood and seeing all the whole fish there. It was actually one of the things that made me want to become a marine biologist. I found it so fascinating.
Yeah.
For this project, we were supposed to do some cooking demos and tastings and more seafood literacy with the public. But right now we're kind of constrained to what we can do. So
kind of on hold there, right?
On hold. But we're making do, and we hope to have some pretty interesting cooking shows coming out soon with local seafood that we'd like to get people interested and start really exploring in the kitchen.
Yeah, and getting people interested in like recipes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
That's kind of like a craze that people want to do that, especially now that they're home. I know that Mark and I certainly we want to cook stuff, right, Mark?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go, Rory.
I love local fish, but go ahead, Mark.
No, I would say before I actually moved to Long Island, I lived in Gloucester for about 10 years, and I was on the water most of that time. And the boats would come in. Sometimes we bought fish right off the boat, and it was really interesting to see, how the people live in the fishing community. I mean, we have Montauk and other places here, but it's very similar as well.
Well, that's great. And that's one of the things that, one of the important reasons why choosing local is so great is because you can see where your food comes from. Right. And I think that's more and more important over time. People are interested in that. They want to know where it came from. Is it safe?
Kristen,
the other thing go ahead,
sorry. No, I just curious about what species are local. What do we have around here that's considered local?
So we have so many local species. I don't know if I could share my screen. I could show you on our website, but on this list, we have about 50 species that are local.
I'll put the link up too, Kristen, right here.
Yeah, that would be great. So you can see it. It's, there's a lot that people are familiar with, but some that might not be. There's bluefish, black sea bass, butterfish, cod, dogfish, eels. Right. There's a bunch of different types of flounders, winter flounder, which is the flounder that we know here, and summer flounder, which is fluke, yellowtail. There's whiting and ling and herring and mackerel and monkfish. That's a big one that we're trying to get people to try.
I love monkfish. It's like lobster.
Yeah. So
firmer meat, right?
Yeah, we'd love to see people trying some more monkfish. Porgies, striped bass, squid, tilefish. That's not one that people are that familiar with.
Sea robins?
Sea robins. Yeah. Just wait. We're excited to get people to try sea robins.
Yeah, because that's a pretty common fish.
Yeah, very common.
Yeah.
They get pretty large too, so you get a nice fillet out of them, right?
There's no reason that people shouldn't be eating sea robin, especially when you see them going to waste. When people are catching them, they don't want them and they throw them on the beach. That's a shame because
if that's really the message we can get out, that would be great.
Yeah, so we're definitely trying to get that message out there. I think people first don't know where to start with filleting it, but I've filleted them. It's not that hard. I just watched a YouTube video on how to fillet it, and
there you go.
Really
maybe we can get you showing us how to fillet a sea robin.
It's true. I mean, a sea robin has the same number of bones. I think you said in the video that other fish do, right? So it's not like they have more bones.
No, not necessarily. It's all just about knowing where to cut. That's all.
Right.
Knowing where to cut and how to do it, and having a good sharp knife. That always helps. A good fillet knife.
One thing that I think really want to make people aware of is, like I said, I was in Gloucester and spent a lot of time in the water and seeing fishing boats. Is that I don't think people realize they go to a fish market, they go to a restaurant and have fish, what it really is involved with bringing a fish to market. On a boat, you're out in the water, you're dealing with the elements, you're dealing with the weather, you're dealing with the waves. It could be cold. Even the winter, you could have ice on the boat. I don't think people realize, what it's really involved.
No, they don't realize. Right.
What
people risk their life for to bring, this great resource to your table.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why the price is kind of, on certain species is up there too. It's what went into it too. People have to make money to keep going, and to keep fishing, and put back into their business. Money for gas and for crew and all that, right? I mean, that's important. What about the species though? What is it that you want people to know about those species? What's important?
Almost one thing that I really want to get a message across to people is what species are local, but also what species are not local, because the species that are consumed in the greatest quantity in the U.S. are shrimp, salmon, tilapia, canned tuna, and pollock. I think that's the top 5 species consumed in the U.S. in 2018. So I do want people to realize that shrimp and salmon and tilapia are not local. They're typically farm raised and imported. So that's not a great option. If you're choosing wild caught salmon and shrimp, that are harvested in the US, that's a good option. But we do want to encourage people to kind of branch out from those top species and really try something new, because imported seafood, especially imported farm-raised seafood, this is a big thing. It could be unregulated, it could be mislabeled, it could be overfished and farm-raised in very unhealthy conditions. So that's a big part of this project, is to make people realize that these imported species are not your best choice. Where we have this great resource right here, let's stick with the species that we have, that are so fresh. So fishermen are out there, catching and landing this fish today. It'll be in the fish market, later today or tomorrow in some cases. So it's super fresh and it's super healthy, and it's safe. And one of the most important things, I can go on and on with why local seafood is a good choice, but one of the most important things that I think consumers are finding very important is the sustainability. So when you're choosing local fish, and that goes for Long Island or even in the U.S. market, you can ensure that the seafood that you're purchasing is sustainably harvested and in compliance with very strict fishing regulations. And that does affect the price, because sometimes these regulations are very strict, which means that the trip limits might be very low, causing the price to go up for what is available. But that when you're choosing local seafood, that is sustainably harvested. And that means that the population of that species is managed to provide for what we need today in terms of, our food, and allowing the species to reproduce and be available in the future. So I think that's one of the key points that I want to get across is the sustainability of local seafood. And that's why all of these choices that you'll see on our website are all good choices.
Okay.
But if you can steer away from the farm-raised imported shrimp and salmon and tilapia, please do that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the better questions, is what not to eat or what not to eat as much of, But, I like the fact too that you mentioned, outside of US, because there's a lot of shrimping going on in the South and stuff like that, and that can be a good choice too. So, but locally is you're keeping all of our local people, working. So,
well, that's especially in this day and age, with the pandemic going on, we want to support the economic viability of Long Island and our coastal fishing communities as best as we can. We want to keep jobs for fishermen and small businesses, and support restaurants when they finally open.
There's a long chain of things that businesses that support fishing too, and the like you said, the restaurants and, there's so many other things, the people that make the gear and the fishing, poles and lines and whatever goes into nets and, that type of thing. So
Right.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're choosing local, right, you're supporting those industries on Long Island.
Mhm.
And that's really important right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we live on an island. I mean, there's a big initiative, obviously, to protect open space and our farmland, but our fishing community is just as important, What's your favorite fish to eat?
I love when I've caught something or I knew where it came from and I fillet it and I cook it up and eat it. I feel great about that. My favorite, I honestly, I really do enjoy porgies. And that's a species I think people should really, get to know more about. It's plentiful on Long Island. It's easy to catch. People catch it all the time, but not everyone keeps it. It's a flaky white meat. It's very inexpensive at the fish market. So it's a great alternative for something like tilapia or something that might be more expensive like fruit.
Right. How many years has this project been going on?
So this project started in 2016 with funding from New York Farm Viability Institute. And now, as of the start of this year, we have funding from the USDA to continue it for 3 years.
So, Kristen, how has the recent pandemic affected this project?
So the pandemic that's going on right now has really given us a golden opportunity to promote local seafood on Long Island.
Right.
Right now, people are being forced to really change the way that they cook and eat.
And shop.
And shop, right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the imported seafood market is kind of diminishing. The restaurants are closed. Other protein sources like chicken and beef are not as readily available at the supermarkets. And when they are, the price is going up. So this has really given us a chance to encourage people to buy local seafood and why it's really important at this time. So we're excited to hopefully get people to try something new when they're cooking at home and bring some new flavors and textures to their plate with some new local species. And so right now, coming up in the near future, we're working on some cooking shows with culinary nutritionist Stephanie Sachs. And she's going to be testing out some recipes with local seafood.
Great.
We really like to focus on some of the lesser known species. So this is dogfish and skates and monkfish and even sea robins that we talked about. So we're getting this project is taking a turn where we're sort of focusing a lot on the cooking aspect of it.
Wow.
Which is really important right now. And
that's great.
I think
if you need taste testers, Rory and I will probably volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Rory?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's some of our favorite things to do on this show.
Right. We eat.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with some of these recipes. They're very easy. They're very healthy. And so we're excited for that to have that available to help consumers get comfortable with choosing.
Absolutely.
Right.
So how can people get more information about the project?
So if you go to our website, it's www.localfish.org. That website is a comprehensive source of local seafood information on Long Island. We start out, as we talked about, kind of discussing, people's concerns, like myths that they might have about local seafood. Like I said, it's expensive, or I don't like the taste, and things like that. So we talk a little bit about that. We have our pictures of all the local species, so you can see that. We have recipes. An important thing is our local seafood locator. So you can use that to find out where local seafood is available.
So I think, Kristen, that when somebody says, I don't like that, do you think that they've ever tried it?
I think it's two things: that maybe they never tried it and they never tried it prepared well, or
that's a good point.
Enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it has to be prepared well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Right.
But but really the freshness is the key. I mean, if you're getting some good quality seafood, really,
Yeah.
I mean, you can just do a simple pan fry and it's good.
True. Yeah.
Well, very
Well,
cool.
I'm ready to eat some local fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
another thing I want people to also feel comfortable with and ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions when you're at the fish market or even at a restaurant.
Well, thank you, Kristen. This has been pretty cool, and we learned a lot more about our fish populations and what we can do to support that. Appreciate you helping us out here.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Right, bye-bye.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You hear it?
Oh, yeah. Let's see what you got, Mr. McNish.
Let me clear it. I got my crab cakes out.
Wow.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Oh, look at those. Those look good.
Yeah, let me see yours. Come on.
Okay, here comes mine.
Slide. Ooh, that looks good too. Oh man.
Yeah, see the little spinach pieces in here?
Yeah.
Some onions.
Boy, these cook pretty quick, huh?
Flounders are pretty thin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a bite. How about you?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh yeah, it's nice and flaky.
Is it good? Okay.
All right.
So
So,
I'm going to get a little forkful right on the edge here.
all right, me too.
Okay.
Just a little piece.
Yep.
Should
we do it both at the same time?
Yeah, ready?
Look at this. 1, 2, 3. Mmm. That's good.
That's
I
hot.
just dropped some on my computer keyboard.
And it's gluten-free.
That's good, yeah. So obviously, remember, it's important to eat local seafood.
I'm not sure what's going on next week, Mark, but I'm on vacation.
Okay.
We're going to take a little sabbatical from our podcast.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. So
All right.
now, who do you think won? I think you won. Yours looked
Now
pretty.
you won, Rory.
You know what? I needed the lobster
The roux?
on top. That would have really made it. But it is good.
Well,
I'm loving
I'm
it.
sure it is. Yeah, it looks awesome.
All right. So you have a good one, all right?
You too. Take care.
Enjoy your flounder.
You too.
Okay, that's our podcast for this week. Thanks for watching. If you've been enjoying these shows and want more information on the marine environment and all that the Marine program does, please subscribe to Cornell Marine's YouTube channel and hit that bell for notifications when we post a video. This isn't the only content we do. Our channel is all about the programs and outreach to you. Have a great week and see you next time.